Hi, my name is Daniel Koranteng and this is my YouTube channel. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Chelsea v United, it was supposed to be a game of fireworks. Chelsea coming on the back of some good form. I think 3 games in a row they had won. Kept a number of clean sheets altogether. They were looking like they were in good form under Graham Potter. Man United themselves, with that impressive win over Tottenham Hotspur in midweek, we expected this to be a very interesting game to watch, at least for the neutrals. But it was far from that. It was absolutely boring, very difficult to watch. And I feel sorry for the neutrals. Myself, as a Man United fan, it was also very tiring to watch, honestly. If you are comparing the 2 games that have been played back to back, the game between Tottenham Hotspur and then the one we're watching right now against Chelsea. Look, I think first of all we have to touch on Scott McTominay. I'm one of those who, I don't even think he's good enough to be a squad player for Manchester United. A squad player is somebody who can come on and do something decent. He's very limited in his ability, and it doesn't look like he quite fits the system that Erik ten Hag wants to play. He's not calm on the ball. His passing ability is not the best. His decision making as a midfielder can be all over the place. So he's not one of those players that I feel should even be in the Man United squad. You come on in your first bit of action, you're supposed to try and close down the game, calm down. You're supposed to bring that calmness. That is why you've been brought on, because you've not necessarily been brought on for your attacking ability. You are mostly a box-to-box, but more of a defensive player. In a corner kick situation, you know there's VAR. You've been around for a while. You expect your experience to some level to come to bear. What are you doing holding the body of an opponent? Of course, if the referee even misses a VAR is surely going to catch you. And he does that, and all of a sudden, a game plan that looked like was going to work by Man United was thrown out of the window. Penalty comes, Jorginho, usually very reliable from the spot, and then he scores. McTominay is really lucky. He's really lucky that his midfield partner Casemiro came out and saved him on the day, because had he not done that, that was defeat for Man United. It would have been a very painful way to lose the game. If you look at the first half, how United went about their play, they looked like the much better team in the first half. They created the better opportunities. The best one fell to Anthony. But unfortunately, I feel had he been on his left foot, he would have done much better. We know how extremely left-footed he is, how difficult it is for him to use his right foot. And unfortunately for Man United, the ball fell on that side of play and he put it off target. But in the second half, I think Chelsea were much better. In fact, Chelsea became much better when they made that substitution, going back to a back 4, introducing an extra midfielder in Kovacic and taking off Cucurella. From that point, I think that was midway to the second half, midway to the first half, carried on into the second half. They seem much better off. But look, in the second half, Man United were just not kicking, and it was quite frustrating to watch, especially from the wide areas. You look at Sancho, he wasn't given enough, and we saw how exciting he was at Borussia Dortmund, how willing he was to take on runners. He wasn't afraid. He's come to Man United. He's not a shadow of himself. He's just not the same person. And I can't quite figure out what exactly the matter is. At first, I thought it was a managerial issue and a system issue with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he left. Ragnick came on. It was the same thing we were seeing. He had a very good preseason under Ten Hag. He's come into the season and he's all still giving off these patchy performances. And you can't continue to give these patchy performances at the level of Man United. You need to be consistent, at least to a certain point. And he's just not doing that for me, and that's highly problematic. Another player who really disturbs me, really disturbs me, is Marcus Rashford. Look, you are young, you have potential, you have ability, but he doesn't seem to use it for anything. You are starting up front in a Ten Hag system where your front man is supposed to trigger a press. He's supposed to be offer that intensity up front. He doesn't do that. If you look at his pressures per 90 minutes statistics, it's just over 14.9 or 14 point something. That is in the 41st percentile. It means he's pressing half in terms of his contemporaries and players who play in the similar position. He's in the bottom half of that bracket, and that is not good enough. That is certainly good enough. Look, I understand that Anthony Martial was the guy supposed to play through the middle. If you look at how Man United shaped up during preseason, he's the one supposed to play through the middle, but he's injured. But if you're Rashford, I'm asking myself, look, your ability to press is not beyond you. You have the energy. He's just not willing to do it, and that's my point. It looks like he has this star boy complex that is running through his head, and he feels when it comes to 50-50 balls, he's not giving enough. He's always going down at the slightest touch. And these things disturb the rhythm of the team. They need somebody stronger up there, somebody putting their body on the line, somebody triggering a press to encourage the whole team to put pressure on the opposition. But he just doesn't do that for me. And when it comes to the finishing too, it's not like he's way better than his contemporaries in the Premier League. No, his ability to finish off chances very, very low. Honestly, I think his finishing is, for me, his finishing is just average. He's bang average when it comes to finishing. You look at that opportunity he had in the first half, the thought and the decision to go for the chip when the goalkeeper had committed himself with his leg wide open. In fact, how are you going to chip a keeper when the keeper is that close to you? That decision alone shows that this person is not a natural finisher. Then again, his decision to always go for power when you can go for placement, when you can go for some finesse, is very disturbing. I think he needs to apply himself a bit more. For somebody who's been given the leverage and the opportunity that he has in the position that he himself says he wants to play, we need to start seeing some better numbers from Marcus Rashford and some better performances from him, because it's plainly just not good enough. United lacked a lot of intensity in the second half, and I feel that started off from the top, from he not applying the pressure. It was just a bit too easy for Chelsea to pass through the United first press, break into the midfield and progress and do what they wanted to do with the ball, and that was highly problematic. When Elanga came on, you could see Elanga doesn't necessarily have the talent that you expect of a Man United player, but the willingness to press, the willingness to run, the willingness to take on opposition, it is there. And you just imagine if he had the talent to match his ambition and his energy, he would have been a far better player. But unfortunately, he doesn't. Rashford has that ability, but he's not applying himself enough. And for me, that is a problem. But Casemiro, what a guy. What a guy, Casemiro. This is why you pay the amount of money you pay for a top star like this. Even when it looks like the game plan has been thrown out of the window, even when it looks like the game is gone, the game is dead, you've gifted 3 points to the opposition, he's able to come up with stuff like this. And this is when you need him. You don't need him to come in. He's a defensive midfielder, a stopper. Somebody's supposed to come and bring that calmness into the midfield, gain that control over the midfield, help shield the back four. But he has goals in him, and we saw that in Real Madrid. And this is when we need him. We need those odd 5 goals a season, 3, 4, 5 goals a season, and a point-saving goal. Defeat-saving goal. Saved us from the grips of defeat. That is Man United with that header, pinpoint header. Absolutely brilliant. I had to do that for Casemiro. Absolutely fantastic guy. Great header. But at the end of the day, I'll say it was a fair game. Look, it was a fair result. Both teams had their patches, and it would have been very unfair if either team ran away with 3 points. If you look at how the game went, it was a very meticulously tactical game. Both managers went about their business. You could tell exactly what they were trying to do. Nobody was trying to risk it to get the biscuit. And at the end of the day, 1-1 for me is a fair result.